So, I'm here at the second day of AWE with Dax from PICO. Now, Dax, you and myself, we met for the first time at the Amusement Expo in Vegas. I was honestly impressed about what you told me about the latest updates that are going on at PICO. In terms of the headset, in terms of the updates at the company and things like that. So. Now we're meeting again, this time in LA, here in Long Beach, AWE, and I'm just interested in what's new, what's been happening since Vegas, or whatever it is that's going on at PICO.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see you, Dennis. It's been incredibly busy here at PICO. Obviously, at a large event like this at AWE, there's a lot of interest in XR in general, and PICO being the leader in enterprise XR. We're having all sorts of conversations with Fortune 100 companies and with one-person startups that all want an enterprise-first headset that just works in any environment, whether it's a crazy conference floor like this, outside, out at sea on a ship, and they want enterprise features at consumer pricing. And I think that's where PICO is really leading the way.
Awesome, yeah. And so this particular expo, the AWE, correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously there's a lot of updates in regards to not only VR, there's XR, mixed reality, augmented reality. Now I know that with PICO, you've been placing a lot of focus on LBE as well. Are there any very some pieces of knowledge that you're applying from the consumer side that you can potentially apply to the LBE side of things? Because at ANVIO, we're obviously very much in the LBE space, so it's interesting for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think things that are relevant to LBE are just like our multiplayer capabilities, and also just having headsets that just work. They don't necessarily need the best Wi-Fi in the world, the best lighting conditions in the world. They can work under a variety of circumstances and work in a very short period of time. We can start up one of our headsets and have a user in an experience in a matter of seconds, whereas some of the other hardware that's out there, there's a little bit more tweaking, there's a little bit more setup that needs to happen. And at an event like this, look, you have executives from a Fortune 100 company coming by, you might only have 15 seconds to make an impression on them. So if you have a headset that takes 30 seconds to start up and then it has to calibrate and you have to reset the boundary, that CEO, that CTO, they've already walked on to the next booth. And I think that's one of the reasons why this PICO booth has been jam-packed the first 2 days is the word is out. People are just like, we've thought about PICO, we've known about it, we've encountered this problem, we think you guys can solve that, or so-and-so, my colleague at such and such company faced this problem, they switched over to PICO, and the problem was eliminated. So I think we're really masters at knowing what enterprise XR needs and really seeking out friction in the process and eliminating that friction.
Now, I know this might be quite a broad question, but obviously there's a lot of things going on at AWE, specifically the second day with a lot of trainings, a lot of workshops and things like that. But would you say that there are some major trends at this expo that are maybe kind of global to the entire industry, or do you think that there's just too much knowledge to kind of nitpick in that sense?
I mean, it's tough to distill down into, just a couple of points, but I think the thing that we're seeing and that you're seeing just by the attendance here is the time for XR has arrived, right? Whether it's young kids in school, education, healthcare, corporate training, within healthcare, there's obviously the training of the providers, so surgeon training, nurse training, but there's also a whole new world of patient-facing experiences, using things like VR and XR to reduce post-op pain or to reduce anxiety going into an MRI machine. And PICO, with the unique, circumstances in hospitals with firewalls and all of that sort of thing, and also data and privacy concerns around HIPAA that PICO is able to meet really clearly and easily. No account creation required, no login required. Those are two things for a large hospital or even a small clinic that they absolutely have to have before they can even do a pilot in XR or VR, So I feel like we're really opening those doors and enabling groups, whether they're, some of the largest companies in the world or groups that are small and they're just starting off, maybe a husband and wife starting a company. We're enabling all of them to leverage XR into their business.
That sounds awesome. Now, coming back to the more LBE side of things, Have you seen maybe anything interesting, like relevant to LBE specifically at this expo? Maybe I haven't seen the booths here for like some of the game developers. Maybe you've seen something that I haven't seen, or
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely game developers that have been around here. I think in terms of LBE, look, a lot of these experiences are looking to gamify their experience, whether that is, again, a healthcare app, a corporate training app, or, a brick and mortar sort of LBE location. They're all trying to gamify this in connecting users and players around the world. So if I'm in this location participating in an LBE game, I want to be able to compete with my friends who might be on the other side of the world. They don't need to be in the same physical space as me. So I think that's a trend that's really growing, and something that like a PICO ecosystem really enables is collaboration, competition, all of those sorts of things on a global perspective with friends, with strangers, with coworkers. It really enables that, sort of collaborative environment even across the entire globe.
And Dax, so this is so you spoke about some of the things that have already happened at Pico or that are happening. Do you have any maybe maybe some long-term things that are going at Pico that you can comment on? No secrets, I know there's a lot of NDAs and things like that, but maybe some new updates or.
Look, I mean, really at the end of the day, we want to keep providing the best enterprise headsets out there at consumer pricing, right? Having enterprise headsets that are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 sounds nice, right? It's like the nicest car at an exotic car dealership, but is it really that practical? Especially when somebody might be deploying their first 2 headsets, or they needed to deploy 2,000 headsets. That's where hitting that sweet spot of enterprise features at consumer pricing is allowing Pico to just grow like crazy. It's actually almost scary how fast things are growing right now.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, just judging by like the growth of AWE as a whole, I mean, I was here a couple of years back. I mean, sure, there was a lot of activity going on back then, but like this year, I mean, since the pandemic, it feels like there's a lot of new players entering the market. I mean, I've been speaking to some other headset companies like Varjo, like Vive, things like that. But with Pico, I mean, you have one of the biggest booths here as well. So that's a symbol that you're really, really trying to expand here, and that's fantastic.
5 p.m. in Southern California on a nice day on day 2, and there's still a lot of people in our booth. There's a lot of other things these people could be doing with their time. They could be hitting a happy hour, going to the beach, going sightseeing, but they're still here interested in learning about XR and learning about XR on Pico specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, Dax, I just want to thank you so much for your time. It's always, it's my second time seeing it in real life, but we was communicating back and forth, and it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for what you're doing with, promoting the industry with your headsets and things like that. It's always great to see. And I look forward to seeing what's next for Pico as a company, and hope to see you at the next expo as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think we could be more excited to work with ANVIO VR. Really excited to come see the Hollywood location on Friday, check out some Pico headsets in action, see some happy and satisfied customers as well as operators, and grow our relationship over time, just like the industry's growing, just like Pico's growing. I think the Pico and ANVIO relationship can continue to grow and proliferate across numerous locations around the globe.
Absolutely. We think exactly the same. Thank you so much, Dax. It was a pleasure.